It is I, Evil Villain Man. And I have taken over this broadcast so that all the world can see the glory of my wonderfully evil plan. For too long, Patman has thwarted all of my schemes. But no more. He is on his way to a church to tell the people there about the love of God. Well, we can't have that. If people know about God's love, they'll never succumb to their fear of me, and it will keep me from taking over the world. So I have set a plan in motion that even Patman, with all his superpowers, will not be able to stop. You see, I have made attacks at several locations, and that goody-goody Patman will not be able to help himself. He'll have to go put things right. Meanwhile, while he's doing that, the church service will end without ever getting to hear Patman's message about God's love. His desire to do good will be his disastrous downfall, and then the world shall be mine! Oh, these masks are ridiculous! I cannot believe how nervous I am. Yes, even I, Patman, get nervous sometimes. I am about to speak to the people of this church about the love of God. And it is vital that all people know about God's love. It is the only thing that can overcome the evil that abounds. But that is what has me so nervous. Evil Villain Man is bound to know what I am doing, and I just know he will do whatever he can to stop it. I must be vigilant. Great buttery biscuits! It's the Pat signal. Apparently, there's been an incident at the local playground. The church will have to wait. Duty calls! Holy heartbroken children! What villainy has happened here? Apparently, someone has decided that children shouldn't be allowed to play anymore and has vandalized this peaceful park. I only know of one such fiend that would attempt such a thing, but I don't see Evil Villain Man anywhere. I would think that he would be trying to stop me from speaking at the church, but instead, he's attacked an innocent play place. No matter, I shall simply use my Pat Park Perfector powers to put things right.
Yay! Thanks, Patman! Patman!
No. I am simply doing my job. You see, the love of God compels us to care about others, especially the vulnerable, such as children. I am simply doing what God's love compels me to do. The Pat signal again. Now a school is in trouble. Farewell, citizens. Another needs my assistance. Great halls of education! Someone has stripped this community of its scholarship. No reading, writing, or arithmetic here. How shall these children ever learn? Who could be so dastardly as to rob this community of the ability to learn? I can only think of one Evil Villain Man. But I don't see him, and you would think he'd be trying to stop me at the church. Regardless, I can take care of this with my Patication Protector.
You saved us, Patman!
Thank you, Patman! You're welcome. But really, I haven't done much. Jesus tells us that we need to love our neighbors, and I can't have my neighborhood going without a good school. The Pat signal. Busted books! It's the library! I have to go, fellow friends! I don't think that this is what is meant by self-checkout. Talk about books being marked. They've been marked and mangled. A library is a center for an entire community. Whoever did this deserves more than a fine. It is all the earmarks of an Evil Villain Man plot, but once again, I don't see him. None of this makes any sense. At least I can repair the damage with my
Patberry card. Now, fellow book lovers, it is cause for celebration, but remember, this is still a library, so we should do it quietly. Besides, I only did what God's love tells me to do. He says that we should love everyone, and everyone is welcome at the public library. I only wish I knew what was going on. Evil villain man!
Yes, it is I, evil villain man. I hate to spoil a good story, but this is the final chapter of this adventure.
So, it was you who has been up to so much mischief today. But this book has a happy ending, for I have put all your wicked deeds right. It's appropriate that I would find you at the library, evil villain man, because you are overdue for some justice.
I'm afraid it is not I who am overdue, Patman, but you. While you've been gallivanting all over town, you missed your little church service. That's right, the meeting is over, and you never made it there to tell them about God's love. Now, no one will know about God's love, and I will be free to conquer the world through hatred and fear. Sorry to have to leave you so abruptly, but I'm closing the book on our little conversation. Big plans to make, you know.
Curses! He's right! I can't believe I let him distract me.
Hey there, Patman. I just want to tell you, thank you for helping the community so much today. Is something wrong?
Yes, I've failed. Evil villain man has finally vanquished me.
What do you mean? You took care of the playground, the school, the library? Sure looks like you came out on top.
That's just it. I took care of those places, but I never did what I set out to do, to teach people about God's love. I was supposed to be speaking at a church. Instead, I was running all over town helping people.
Speaking at a church, it is important, but it seems to me that you managed to do even more than teach people about God's love. You showed it to them.
Huh?
All those things you did today, why did you do them?
Because God teaches us to love each other. If you see someone in need, you should help them. When Jesus is in your heart, you can't help but care about others.
Exactly. You didn't just tell them about God's love. You showed them what it looks like. And that's a lesson they'll likely never forget.
But evil villain man thought he was keeping me from teaching people about God's love.
It's like in the book of Acts in the Bible. In Acts 1:8, Jesus tells the disciples that they will be his witnesses in Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, and to the ends of the earth. And they do a pretty good job of it in Jerusalem. But they kind of just stopped there. Then something happened that seemed horrible at first. In Acts 8:1, we read that a great persecution broke out against the church in Jerusalem, and all except the apostles were scattered throughout Judea and Samaria. This had to feel awful to the early Christians, and I'm sure they questioned why God would allow something that seems so horrible to happen.
Yeah. Persecution means that the Christians were being arrested, hurt, and worse for believing in Jesus and telling others about him. It would make it really difficult for them to be his witnesses.
You would think so. But in Acts 8:4, we read that those who had been scattered preached the word wherever they went.
So wait, what looked bad actually caused them to do what Jesus had told them to do in the first place?
Exactly. Instead of the church just being stuck in Jerusalem, the good news of Jesus spread throughout the area, eventually all over the Roman Empire. In a way, we're here today because the church in Jerusalem was persecuted. What was meant for evil, God used for good. Kind of like with you and evil villain man today.
Wait, What?
Evil villain man might have kept you from telling people in a church about God's love, but instead, he caused you to take the message of God's love out of the church to the people who needed to not just hear it, but to see it. You were like the early believers leaving Jerusalem.
Hey, yeah! Wow! I hadn't thought of that!
So, evil villain man may have thought he kept you from doing God's work, but actually, he was helping you to do it even better. Plus, thanks to him taking over our base camp program today, everyone at home was able to see God's love too. It just goes to show, you can't outsmart God.
Go God! I guess I can return to the Pat Cave victorious after all.
Yes, you can. But when will we see you again?
You know when you'll see me.
I do?
Same Pat time, same Pat channel. To the Pat Cave!
Patman learned a valuable lesson today. Even when things seem confusing or difficult, God has a plan, and nothing can stop it. In fact, what appears to be bad, God can use for good. The same is true in our lives. I want to encourage you today to spend some time seeking God and asking Him maybe how He's used some hard things in your life to actually accomplish something good. You might be surprised by the answer. I'm Pastor Pat with Base Camp, a ministry of Summit Church in beautiful Bozeman, Montana. Thanks for joining us today. If you're in the Bozeman area, you are welcome to join us for live services every Sunday at 9:15 and 11 o'clock. You can also keep finding us online on Facebook and YouTube and at Summit Church MT or our website, summitchurchmt.com. Our children's ministry Facebook page is Base Camp Kids Min. Subscribe, comment, like, and share. Don't be discouraged when things seem crazy around you. God's got this, and He's got you. Bye!
These masks are horrible. I bet evil villain man's the one who invented them.